Okay, so this is Unit 29 video. So we're actually going to be solving equations and inequalities, which we've done plenty of times before. It's just a nice refresher. So we're going to solve this inequality. So the first thing you do, you draw your line, and you have a left side and a right side. So we're going to look at the left side, because that's with my letter. And since that 5 is being added, you're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So this cancels out. And you get 2x, and 7 minus 5 is 2. Well, now you have 2x is less than or equal to 2. So now you're going to divide by 2, and you get x is less than or equal to 1. So your answer is x is less than or equal to 1. Okay, well, now you have another equation. You have negative 2x plus 5 is less than or equal to 7. Okay, well, there's not much difference between the other one. You still draw your line. You still subtract 5 from both sides. You still get 2. But now you have a negative 2x is less than or equal to 2. So now you need to divide by negative 2, which is very important when you divide by negatives on an inequality, because when you divide negative to both sides, the inequality symbol flips. And now your answer is negative 1. So your answer is x is greater than or equal to negative 1. So it says explain the differences in solving the two inequalities. So it says both inequalities you subtract 5 from both sides, but the second step you divide by 2 to both sides, but on the second inequality you divide by negative 2 and then flip the sign, which I was explaining during it. Okay, at a grocery store, Luke buys a bag of fruit. The bag weighs a total of 27 ounces. There are 6 bananas in the bag, and the remaining fruit weighs 9 ounces. Write an equation that can be used to determine B, the weight of the ounces of one banana. Okay, so first thing I did is I sketched the model. So these little blue squares means plus 1. Okay, so there's 27 over here, and then there's 9 over here. Come on. It really does not want me to draw that 9. There you go. And then these big, long ones are x's. So those are 6x. So this is 6x plus 9 equals 27. And that's how you would model it in a for an equation. So the way you would solve it is you would have to take, you'd have to take these 9 away. Well, if you took 9 away over here, you would have to take 9 away from here. If I could draw it. Sorry, guys. Internet is just being weird today. So you have to take 9 away from here. If I could just draw it. There you go. And so you would do 27 minus 9, which would be 18. So there should be 18 squares. So now what you have is you have 6x equals 18. So you would have to divide these blocks up into 6 groups. So this is one group. This is another group. And this is another group. And so you got 3 groups, so it equals 3. Personally, I like to divide it by 6. And so you would do 6x divided by 6, and you get x equals 3. So each banana weighs about 3. So now let me just show you how I would do this if I didn't have the model. Because the model I like the model because it helps you show you what things do. But sometimes it can get a little confusing. So you would have this equation 6x plus 9, which equals 27. So you just draw your line. You got a left side and you got a right side. You look at the left side because that's where your x is. So you subtract 9 from both sides. You get 18. Okay, same thing we did here. And then you divide 6 and you get 3. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to explain in words on how to solve the following inequality. Okay, so it's always good to be able to explain it to someone instead of just being able to show them. So the way you would do it is you would add 3 to both, not add 3, that's supposed to say subtract 3. So you're supposed to subtract 3 from both sides. And then you're going to multiply 2 to both sides. And so that's the solution. So let's do that. So let's follow my steps. So you draw your line. I would subtract 3 because it's being added. So now you have x over 2 is less than 7. Since that 2 is on the bottom, it's being divided. So you're going to multiply 2 to both sides. So this cancels out. So then x comes down. The sign comes down. 7 times 2 is 14. So your inequality would be x is less than 14. Okay, number 4. Mr. Z is on a diet which requires a maximum calorie intake of 2,000 calories per day. He has already consumed 1,120 calories, and there are 4 hours remaining in the day. Write an equation or inequality that can be used to represent C, the number of calories Mr. Z can eat during each of the remaining hours. So the first thing you do is you write an equation. And so 2,000 would be his total. So you can equal it to 1,120 minus 4x. The reason why is because it says 4 hours remaining and you're trying to figure out how many calories you can eat. But now what we're going to do is it going to be an equation or an inequality? Because I wrote it as an inequality. But he doesn't have to consume 2,000 calories. He just can't go over it. So what I would do is I have my 2,000 over here. And it has to be, 2,000 has to be bigger or equal to. So that means I'll have my 1,120 calories minus the 4x over here. Because you're trying to figure out how many calories you consume per hour. You just can't exceed 2,000. And that's supposed to be a plus, because you want to equal up to 2,000. So now you just solve it. So you draw your line. So you subtract 1,120 from both sides. You get 4x is less than or equal to, and then 2,000 minus 1,120 will be 888. And then you divide by 4. And it'll be x is less than or equal to 220 calories. So that means that he cannot consume more than 220 calories. So he can have 220 calories or less per hour. Okay, number 5. Sheila buys flower bulbs from a catalog for $2 each, plus a $4 shipping charge for the whole order. She spends $20 on flower bulbs. The model below can be used to determine x, the number of bulbs she can order. So it says first thing to do is write the equation. So there's 2 x's. So that means you're going to write a 2x. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's plus 4 right there. Equals 20. And that's what the model represents. So now all I have to do is solve it. So you have 2x plus 4 equals 20. Draw your line. You're going to subtract 4 from both sides. So you get 2x equals 16. Divide by 2. You get x equals 8. So she can buy 8 bulbs of flowers. All right, an exit ticket. Julie, Alex, Mario, and Monica work together to solve the inequality below. None of the students agree on how to solve the inequality, though some of them have arrived at the same solution. Who has the correct process and solution for the inequality? Well, first off, we're looking at the inequality. So inequality, these cannot be the answer. So A and B are automatically wrong because it cannot be x equals 4. It has to be an inequality sign. So now we're trying to figure out is between Mario and Monica. Okay, so we have this equation, 5x minus 3 is greater than or equal to 17. So the first thing you do is you add 3. So it says Mario says to subtract 3. Well, that's wrong. Monica says to add 3. That's correct. Okay, Melvin plans to attend a comic book convention in March. The expenses, including entry fee, hotel, food, and lodging will be a minimum of $550. Melvin currently has $295 saved. He earns $8.50 per hour at this job as a technician. How many hours will Melvin need to work in order to have enough money to attend a convention? Okay, well, he needs at least $550. It doesn't mean that he can't have more than that because it says it's a minimum. So $550 is your minimum. And let me rewrite this. So I like to have my numbers on the right. So $550 is your minimum. So that means you can have more than that or equal to $550. And he makes $8.50 per hour. So it'd be 8.5x plus the $295 he's already had. So then you solve it, but apparently your answer is going to be 30. So you solve it. So you do 295. So you're going to do 550 minus 295, which is 255. So you have 8.5x is greater than or equal to 255. And you divide that, and your sign does not flip. So it means my answer is x is greater than or equal to 30. So the answer has to be A, because he can work more hours, but the minimum he can work is 30 to be able to get at least $550. It doesn't mean that means he can get more than 550 if he works more than 30 hours. Okay, so the answer is A. Okay, so that's how you solve equations, and we've done these multiple times. It's just great to have a refresher. Hey, thank you guys.